Hey y'all, my name is Susan and this is my butterfly gardening channel. So y'all, I have some empty pots with some soil in it, and I'm gonna take those milkweed stems that have the roots coming out and just stick them in these pots and put them out in that little secret area. Just for fun, I tried putting two in one pot. See what'll happen. Y'all, I'm standing here watering and look, can you see there's a monarchy closing, like right now. Look who's right here on the side. Look how chubby. So cute. Oh my goodness. Oh, look, there's another one. Hey y'all, so I have a beautiful little butterfly here who I think is ready to fly in the outside enclosure. I love having this out here. This guy right here. They're just happy as can be, but they're still outside, living their lives as naturally as possible. Look at this one here. And yet safe from predators, so they have a better chance at survival. Well, clearly it's ready to fly, but it went to the other side of the enclosure, so we're just gonna enjoy watching it for a little bit, and maybe it'll work its way back over here. Yeah, it just flew out. It just flew out on its own. Hello, beautiful. All right. I hope it visits my garden and stays around. Hey y'all, I'm gonna do a little cleanup in my outside milkweed enclosure. I'm gonna go in and snip back some of the longer stems that the caterpillars have eaten, and I'm gonna plant a couple of the new milkweed that I got from Joyful Butterfly in the enclosure, kind of fill it in a little bit more with some fresh, and then the stems that I cut, I'll go root and water and grow new plants, because that's what it's all about. So here we are in the enclosure, and like this stem right here, there's only a few leaves left on it, but you know, it's a nice long stem, so if I cut it down, it'll grow out, kind of like these ones down here. Oh my gosh, look at this gorgeous guy right here. This is what's so fun about being in here, is you run into little cuties such as this. Look at what a chunky little guy that is. Oh my gosh. Okay, so back on task. So I'm gonna just snip off a few branches, and I brought out a big jar to put the cuttings in. And then I also brought out a few tropical milkweeds, and look, they really want to get in the ground. So I'm gonna plant them in here and then give them a big drink. And they're all actually gonna get a dose of Miracle Grow. And there's also some seed pods that I am going to recover. And I planted these guys so they don't look so good because they need a drink, but they're about to get it. But it just looks more green and more fresh. So if you're going to use tropical milkweed, you just got to regularly maintain it. And cutting it back, honestly, helps keep the OE at bay, which is what most people are concerned about with the use of tropical milkweed. So it also serves that purpose as well. See, and you can see this is the side I trimmed, and that's the side I'm heading for. It does make a difference. And now for a nice drink of Miracle Grow. You guys, I found this little guy on the ground in the enclosure, and you can see he was J hanging, and he must have not been successful at finding a secure spot. He was in my outside enclosure, so I'm gonna put him in one of those little condiment cups because it's plastic and they can still pupate on the ground, but it's a nice smooth surface that he should be able to pupate at least safely in. And we'll see if he can make it. So I'm gonna gently place him there. See, laying down. And I'll put him in there, and then I'll put him in one of these with the lid on top, so he'll be safe, but he'll have airflow. And we'll check and see what happens. Hey y'all, it's Wednesday morning. It's a little cloudy, overcast today, and that makes for some good gardening, and it's very windy. So remember that little caterpillar that was J hanging, and I found him in the bottom of the outside enclosure? I found another one too. I'm like, what's the deal, you guys? So I brought it in, and I put it in a little condiment cup also, and they both pupated. So they're in their chrysalis form, and I'm going to show you them in a minute. One of them, the chrysalis is kind of lumpy looking. You know, you never know though. So I'm going to leave them there, and then when they get closer to ready to eclose, I'll move them to another location. I have a few ideas, or I can put them like down in the corner, so as soon as they come out, they can climb up and let their wings fall. So we'll see how they do. So this is the one that you saw me bring in, and you can see it looks a little lumpy, kind of, because it didn't have gravity help, but I have read that they can still eclose. So we're gonna give it the chance and see what happens. And then this is the other one I brought in. It has a better shape. So next on my project list today is, this was on my 4th and 5th instars, and they have all gone up to pupate. So I'm gonna take these plants out to let them regrow, trim them up a little. And I see back in the corner, there's a chrysalis back there, so on a leaf, I'll probably clip it up somehow. Maybe I'll put it out And I'm also gonna put fresh paper towels in because I don't want all that dirt in there from their frass and everything. That will get rolled up and put in my compost because when the monarchs eat clothes, I want everything fresh and clean. So first when I take these plants that have been munched on in an enclosure, I'll take them out, check them over real good, make sure there's not a hidden caterpillar on there. And then like I'll trim back all the leaves so they have a nice smooth edge to regrow. And then I'll put them out in my regrowing area. Also, the soil level in this one, like it's really low back there. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna top off some soil also, and then this one will be ready to go and grow back. So I moved my golf fritillaries out to that new outside enclosure I put in just because, I don't know, I feel they do better outside. So I have them in a whole big potting thing. I'll show you in a second. But I'm also going to put some of this milkweed in there with them to regrow because they'll leave it alone and then it can regrow and it won't get eggs laid on it because there's been monarchs all over my garden laying eggs. Imagine that in a butterfly garden. So here's a new enclosure and here are the golf fritillaries. So I've actually got a whole maypop growing in this big pot, and then eventually I'm going to plant these ones in there. And here's all the golf fritillaries. So I'm just going to set these guys in here to regrow where they won't get eggs laid all over them. Look, there's somebody flying behind me now. I see its shadow. Yeah, look, there she is. See, those ones are regrowing over there. And look, I'll have to move them in too. Actually, why? They're gonna have eggs on them, so I won't move them in. I'll just have to check and move the caterpillars later onto plants that have more leaves for them. She's just gonna lay eggs on all of them. There you go, little girl. That's what they're for. Look how she is still going at it. A monarch chrysalis and a few sulfurs. How sweet is that? Y'all, it's time for me to dump my compost out into my other compost. So upon further inspection in the teenager enclosure, I found this guy. So he's ready to move over to the big boy enclosure. So I just grabbed a plant that's got a decent amount of leaves on it. And gonna move him on there and put him over in the big enclosure. All right, now they're all set back in there. I just took all the plants out, cleaned them up a little bit. I give them a misting under the hose so it's like they got rain, because you know they need moisture. That's how they get their water. And now it's time to clean up this beautiful bouquet of milkweed. And you can see there's a lot of like little dead leaves on it, and there's also caterpillars. So first of all, you got to give it fresh water regularly. So I'm gonna go put fresh water in here. So I'm just taking out the stems and I'm very gently laying them down on my workspace. I'll get some fresh water. I'll trim them up, clean them up, inspect the caterpillars, see if anybody needs to be moved up to the next enclosure, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're looking a little bit better. And I'm gonna leave everybody here for now. These guys here are bigger and could move to the teenager enclosure, but I'm gonna wait till some of those teenagers molt and move up to the bigger enclosure because I don't want it to be too crowded. And right now, they're doing all right on here. Look at the roots that this bouquet of milkweed is pushing out. Yeah, wouldn't that be something to get married and carry a bouquet of milkweed that has caterpillars munching on it? I might have to renew my vows. That'd be fabulous. So when I was originally cleaning up the milkweed, I found these two little guys. So I brought in another bouquet of milkweed in a vase just for them. And I'm just going to set the little leaves they're on in here. And then they can just crawl on whenever they're ready.